So you want to know how to bulk, maybe why you should bulk, and why you can't build massive muscle under lean or shredded conditions. We're going to talk about that today. Coming up. Let's build together. So what's going on is your dude, That Guy Health, ANBF, Men's Physique, Pro, Health Up Nutrition, sponsored athlete. And today we are talking about bulking. So this video actually comes by way of request from one of my followers on my Instagram page. I have told you all plenty of times, if you want to see certain videos or content, make comments below or send me DMs or even just go ahead and post on my Instagram page and let me know what you might be interested in, and I just might do a video on it. And M. Lewis, thank you for this topic. We're going to cover it. So what we're covering today is bulking, okay? Now, there are all types of ways and formats and all types of just plans out there that will tell you how to bulk. But I'm going to talk about how I bulk and basically why I bulk the way I do, and it's probably pretty close to what you should be doing. A lot of us are making mistakes, and yes, making plenty of mistakes watching not making mistakes watching the videos by guys like Kai Green, Heath, Cutler, Ramy, all these big, massive bodybuilders. The mistake is you're watching like their day of eating videos, and then you're trying to follow and mimic that same process or that same plan and apply it to yourself. Well, the big problem with that comes in, you're probably not as big as any of those guys. And if you are, then hey, more power to you. But most of the time, you're not. And so you're taking their plan and directly transferring it over to yourself. And then what you're doing is you're screwing up. You're putting yourself in such a surplus, it is ridiculous. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of framework, some guidelines that I go by when trying to do a good bulk or healthy bulk, however you want to put it, and what's working for me. Excuse me, I literally just got done eating, came from the gym, ate, came down here, and yes, I had 2 cookies with some peanut butter on them, came down here and got to this video. So peanut butter sometimes makes me have to clear my throat, so excuse me if I do that temporarily through the video. So I got some notes over here because I do want to make sure I cover certain areas, all right? So one thing is this, and I'm going to have a picture posted up here, is this is me like lean at about, I think I was around 5% body fat. I mean, I was floating between like 4.9, 5.3% body fat in this picture. It looks good. You can see muscle definition, line fluidity, joining muscle groups. I mean, it has a very dynamic and very sex appeal or very inviting look. Like you love to look like that. The problem is this. That is not an ideal situation in which to build more muscle up on, okay? Being at 5% body fat, and I've seen several videos and even like harsh comments like Jim Stepani and Terry Crews saying that they're walking around 4% body fat. Listen, I'm going to say, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to say that's bull crap, okay? Because I have literally been at 5% body fat, and let me be one of many, or maybe the first to tell you, it sucks. All right, it literally sucks. Your workouts, you don't have a lot of pump in you. Your energy levels are really low. You're probably going to have headaches, which I had headaches. So in prep time, pretty much that's prep. It's not an ideal situation to live a healthy, set lifestyle day in and day out. So that picture, yes, it looks good. It's something that I would not try to maintain all the time. So this is a picture of me pretty much in what I call build season, or what you may call bulk season, and some people call it off season. I don't call it the off season because technically I'm never off. If I'm building for the next season, am I off? No, I'm building for the next season. There's no off season. I know I'm not showing, but I'm not off. Maybe the judges are off, but I'm not off. So it's a build season to me. So right now I'm floating between 14 body percent fattage, okay? That's ideal for me. I can go in, have good workouts, good pump. I'm not as grumpy. I don't have the headaches. I can push more weight. Progressive overload, whether by reps or increased weight. And right now I am able to increase my weight because my body can support that. Being at a higher body fat percentage and also having the calories and the carbs to have the energy to do so. So that is a great thing. And that is what brings us to why bulking is necessary in order to grow, okay? That's why. Because when you're in prep, if you're not in prep, or when you're at a low body fat percentage, your body doesn't necessarily have, now that doesn't go for anomalies. Like, there are all types of exceptions to the rules. There are humans out here that look crazy and they're natural. They're lean as crap and they're natural. It's just something that happens. That's not ideal, okay? So your body can't build under that because it doesn't have the resources in order to build under that. Okay, so when I'm in prep, my carbs are in the toilet. And when I mean in the toilet, I'm talking about I'd be lucky to have a max of 3 grams, 7 grams, depending on where I am in my prep at any point in time. That is just crazy, okay? So you can't build on that. You don't have the energy. The calories are low. So that's another thing. So how you want to go about setting up probably your bulk is this. If you don't know, sometimes the rule of thumb is 0.8 or a gram of protein per pound of body weight, all right? That's ideal where you kind of want to be in order for your body to have the protein it needs to sustain muscle growth, muscle repair, all right? Right now, I probably float around that, but I'm probably more around the 0.8 right now. I probably will kick it up to the 1 gram. Usually when I'm 1 gram or higher, it's deeper in prep when the carbs are way down and we're trying to reduce the amount of muscle mass just like leaving. We want to up the protein to try to slow that down as much as possible because we do want the muscle in the show. So that's going to happen. So about 0.8, 1 gram of protein per your pound of body weight. Then that's what I'll set up first, okay? So I'll go in, decide what my activity level is going to be. You know, basically an estimate of how many calories I should need in order to support that activity level. And then once I get that calorie, that benchmark, however you want to get it through a calorie calculator, whatever the case is, what I tend to do sometimes is run through a full day, check my Apple Watch, collect that data, some other data, and see how many calories around about, and then I'll kind of go up on the high end, maybe even add a little bit to that. And then once I get that calorie mark, okay, now I need to see how I want to fill these calories, what macros. So I'll start with my protein because first and foremost, building in my season, I definitely want to support muscle growth, all right? So I'm going to go in, get my protein levels up, you know, and see what that mark's going to be. So calculate that out, 0.8 or 1 gram times your body weight, or maybe the body weight that you want to be. Boom, put that in. And then next, I'll come down to my carbs. So listen, when you're doing your carbs, you want to select good, wholesome carbs, all right? You don't want a bunch of junk carbs coming out of like Pop-Tarts, cookies, cake. Do I eat those things? Yes, I have those as snacks here and there. And in the build season, you can eat a little bit more liberal, but we're going to get into that. Matter of fact, I'll make that note. Liberal. So we're going to cover what liberal means, all right? So you don't get it out of context. So you get those good carbs in. I'm talking about like your rice, your quinoa, your couscous, maybe even rice cakes, sweet potato, regular potato. You want to use carbs like that, okay? So you'll go through filling your carbs for a good amount that probably will sustain you to have enough energy, because carbohydrates are the primary source in which your body looks to for energy, okay, for fuel. Next in line is going to be the fat. Last in line under the most dire situations is your protein, okay? And it has to go through quite a bit to get to the protein. It's almost like you having a savings account away and out of state. You're gonna have to go through quite a bit to get to that money. And if you get to that point, it's because you're in dire need to get to it, all right? So we're in the checking account debit card status right now of the macros. So once you set your protein and your carbs up, you'll go ahead and get to your fats. Now listen, we want good fat. Everybody's like, oh, you want fat? Yeah, we want fats. Yeah, we need a little fat, okay? We do need good fats. I don't know where people get this notion that having fats in your diet or carbs in your diet is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's how you utilize them and how you implement them that makes them bad, okay? So yeah, you want good fats and you'll set that up. This fats are last in line to me in my setup. And then I'll go ahead and kind of fill those. Usually in the build season, I'll be somewhere like 100, maybe 80. I'll play with it, okay? And then fill the calories from there. Maybe I take protein up, maybe I take little carbs up a little bit, get to that number where I want to start out from, and then boom, I got my start. So this is another thing. When we go into a build season, a bulking season, you want to use the same good quality food that you've been eating. You just want more of it. So chicken breast, like 93, 97% beef, rice, you want to keep using those foods. You just want more of those foods. And the good thing is while you're in build season, you can afford, especially if you're showing, but if you're not showing, you might could do it a little bit more. You can afford to have the snacks. So I can go out with my daughter and have a little ice cream. I can eat popcorn. I can go ahead and have some cookies with peanut butter here and there. The thing is, you can't go crazy with it. You don't want to be eating those things 3 times out of the day. Like, you pick a part of the day where you'll allow yourself to have a good snack and you'll have it. Don't go crazy with it. Don't eat like 6 cookies. Don't eat like a dozen donuts. Have I eaten a dozen donuts? You're damn right I've eaten a dozen donuts. After my first show where I was like pretty much almost below 5% target in there, after my first show I got home, I celebrated and I had a dozen donuts to myself. I'm not mad about it. Okay? So, but you don't want to continuously do that in your build season or else you start getting off track, all right? So that brings us to that. Good foods, just more of those good foods. Throw in some snacks for yourself to keep yourself sane. Don't be afraid if you go out to eat with your significant other or your friends to have a good meal while you're out at a good restaurant or a good burger. I don't waste my time getting burgers from McDonald's and Burger King. If I'm going to get a burger, I'm going to go somewhere where they're going to take good beef, cook it up, make me a good burger that's worth eating, okay? That's the difference, all right? And don't harp too much on your sodium levels, all right? Sodium, you do need sodium. You need that. When you go and work out and you're sweating, you need that sodium in there, all right? What do you think Gatorade does, okay? You need sodium. We don't want to be over sodium, so we don't want to overly salt and use a bunch of condiments in our food. All the duck sauce and a bunch of iodized salt and all that. You don't want to do a lot of that. You want to throw a pinch in here, a pinch there if you can. Maybe use some herbs. You could use spices and condiments, but you need to be very once again, just very restraining on that. Get it just good enough to where you can deal with the taste and it's not horrible and it's good, and go from there. So we're not going to sit here and try to like itemize our sodium. We are going to look at the sugar some, okay? We don't want high amounts of sugar, and when that process turn around and giving us excess components to use that our body's going to have to store and turn into fat. We don't want that. So the good thing is you do want to eat fruit. You're going to get sugar from fruit. You do want to have your snack. You're going to get sugar from that. All right. There's things you're going to get sugar from. The thing is not to overwhelmingly do it. We don't want to eat a 3, 4, 5 pieces of cake, turn around, have 3 or 4 or 5 sodas. And that's another thing I'm big on. I'm not going to say I don't drink soda, because when I go to the movies, I have a cherry Coke. And that's the only time I'm probably going to have a soda, period. All right. So I don't like wasting calories on liquids. I'm going to drink water. 99% of the time I'm drinking water. That's what I don't want my calories being wasted on liquids, okay? I want my calories to be utilized with food, all right? Listen, telling you what I do, what my opinion is, what's thus far is working for me. The pictures you can see here for yourself when I was lean and I'm bulking. Now let's get into this. How can you tell if your bulking is not going as it should? And how can you tell if you're not bulking at all? Let's answer the simple question first. If you're still looking very lean, chances are you're not really in a bulk. You're just lean. And let's cover this as well. Shredded and lean are not the same. And most people that are lean claim they're shredded. And they don't know what the hell they're talking about, okay? If you're not below 6%, you're not shredded, all right? I've been lean at about 9, to 12%. Once I hit 14%, I really don't consider myself lean because of the look. And this is where we're going to segue into how you want to tell. Stepping on the scale is not the best way to tell. It's blind. The scale just knows weight. You could put a plate on there and the scale would know the difference if it was you or a plate. Okay? It can be an indication, but it's not something that gives you very lucrative type of data for you to say and make very good decisions on. Very solid decisions, okay? Now, of course, if you step on the scale, every week, and you're going up 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds, well, it's an indication that something's happening and you probably need to see what it is. And that's why I tend to use the eyeball test. Yes, these eyeballs. I use these eyeballs to determine if my bulking is going overboard or I'm not bulking enough. So what you want to do is this. When I was shredded to lean, of course, I can see the 8-pack, 6-packs, 10-packs. I can see all the muscle lines. I can see the break in my bicep to my tricep. You're going to see that. So what you want to do is when you start bulking, you want to pay attention to that because naturally those lines are going to start softening up because you're what? You got a little bit more body fat on you. Got a little bit more water on you. You're eating a little bit more, okay? So that's going to happen, and that's good, and that's natural. So if you start noticing, if you flex and you don't even see a resemblance of a 6-pack, you might be going overboard. Because remember, if you're in show status, like you're in competition, and you're still in the build season, you got to remember, you got to go into prep. So now you don't want to be so far over the target line where your prep's got to be 18, 20 something weeks because you put on that much body fat is ridiculous. So I'll look maybe 3 times a week. I'm going to check my abs. I'm going to check my obliques. I'm going to check my back and see if I can still see my muscle groups. I want to see if I can still see abs here. Like they're not going to be very hardcore, but I'm going to still see a line where I can count 6 packs there and they're a little softer. Cool. I can deal with that. That's okay. All right. You're not going to look shredded up like you were because we're in bulking. All right. We're going to be a little bigger. We're going to be what we call t-shirt buff. All right. So look for those indications. If you start to see those things fading to almost non-existent, that's probably an indication that maybe you're probably over the line of bulking. You need to go back. Let's say we're going to go ahead, cut the carbs a little bit, cut the fat down some. Of course, that's going to drop our calories down, and let's go with that, okay? So either you're eating too much or your activity's not as high as you thought it was going to be. So we need to change one or the other. And in some cases, if you know you're a hard worker and you know when you go to the gym you're putting out, then you definitely want to take another look at your nutrition and your calories and say, hey, let me scale these back a little bit. Let's take some carbs out, take some fat out, see what happens over the next couple of weeks and see if some of those lines start to appear, all right? So that's something that I will do and that you definitely might want to try to implement to see if your bulk's going overboard, if your bulk's just right, and how you feel, okay? So the other thing is, we already went into the macro setup. We already talked about don't be overzealous with your snacks. Being liberal does mean like I said, I will go in and have like some cookies, a couple of cookies that day. Sometimes I don't have any real snacks that day. Or I'll go in and I'll say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and have me a little ice cream with the daughter, or maybe I won't, but you still have to remain in control and have some constraint on your daily intake. We are not just eating up everything and think we're getting big boy status. We're going to build up like the Marshmallow Stay Puff Man, and all of a sudden when we shred back, we're going to see a bunch of muscle. That's not what you want to do. That's going into a very unhealthy status, all right, at that point in time. You make yourself acceptable to disease, all types of other situations that can happen. You don't want that, all right? That's bulking in the wrong way, all right? So with that being said, I'm not going to keep you all too long. I definitely got to get out here, get the daughter to the complex so we can have our daddy-daughter soccer practice, and then she's done great in school, so I'm going to take her to get her banana split. And yes, when I have her banana split, I might have me a little ice cream. We could do that, all right? But we don't want to do that every day. We don't want to do that 3-4 times a day. Be responsible. So, M. Lewis, I hope that gives you some insight. If not, I hope that gives everybody a little bit of insight. If not, Comment down below. I would love to hear how you go about your bulking, or if you're thinking about bulking, if you're thinking about showing, head over to the Instagram page, comment there. Let's have some dialogue so we can bring forth some information to this channel so that all of us can access it and get ideas and even answers, all right? So you know what I always say, peace, be safe, and let's build together. I'm out.